Hey everybody, I'm Grandmaster Ben Feingold. This is 5 Minutes with Ben, and I'm Ben. I was streaming yesterday, and the game that was played by one of the viewers that I was analyzing reminded me of this game, so I figured I could show the game in a 5 Minutes with Ben. It's the game Rene Letelier versus Robert James Fischer, Bobby Fischer, from the Leipzig Olympiad in the GDR in 1960. Fischer's black, and he played a King's Indian. And in this position, white played the very unusual e5. And so Fischer tries to prove that those pawns are overextended by playing d6 and c5, attacking the center pawns at every possible, place and such, mainly and such. Okay, dc, white wins a pawn, knight c6. Now white's a pawn up, but it's going to be hard for white to castle. In fact, it's going to be really hard for him to castle when the game's over. All right, so cd, ed. Now, here white should probably start developing some of his kingside pieces, but he played knight e4, attacking the d6 pawn. And Fischer's like, yeah, you can have that pawn. That's fine. Your king is in the center. You have no development. So Letelier changed his mind and played knight g3. Wants to take the two bishops. So Fischer retreated. Always retreat. Finally, knight f3. White develops a queenside piece. Queen c7, attacking the e pawn a lot. Queen b1. Now my sources from 1960, before I was born, way before I was born, they tell me Letelier tried to castle with his queen and rook, and that they wouldn't let him. No, but seriously, I don't understand Queen b1 very much. I think he wants to play f5, and he didn't want his queen on c2 because it could get attacked by the knight. But okay, so takes f5. Now Fischer sacrifices with e4, confusing the audience, opening up the diagonal for his bishop and his queen, and also vacating the e5 square for his knight. Takes, takes, takes. Now Fischer played f5. Now after castling, or trying to castle, now white tried to take en passant. But that's the most illegal move ever, except for castling. Okay, Fischer's threatening f4, winning a piece. So white played f4. Knight f6, bishop e2, completing development. Rook e8. Now black's going to take the pawn and attack everything on the e file. So instead of castling, white played king f2 to defend his bishops. Rook takes e6. Finally, we have material equality. Rook e1, rook a e8, bishop f3. And if you've read the book My 60 Memorable Games by Bobby Fischer and Larry Evans, then you should know this position. This is one of the famous games from his book collection, from his games collection. Fischer always sacrifices the exchange. So rook takes e3, rook takes e3, rook takes e3, king takes e3. And now Fischer said, "Excuse me while I whip this out." And everybody screamed. And then he played queen takes f4 check. And white resigned. If white takes the queen, bishop h6 is checkmate. And then black would win because it's checkmate. And the engine actually announces mate here, although it's like mate in 17 or something. And it says king f2, knight check, king g2, knight check, king f2, knight d4. And now I stopped looking at the checkmate when the engine said queen d1 was the best move. Allowing knight takes queen check and queen takes bishop check. Say what? They said that's the best. So I said, man, that's the best. That's not good. So in this position, seeing the attack was winning and he'd be losing, Letelier resigned after queen takes f4 check. So that was a brilliant win by Fischer. Hope you enjoyed that as much as Fischer did, but I doubt it. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next time with more 5 Minutes with Ben. Bye.